Hey everyone, and welcome to our network. This is what I'm calling right now the Magical Miracle Network. That name could change. And what we're doing today with all of you is we are bringing back a very popular lady, a beautiful spirit. Her name is Susan Fuller, and she is here with us today to do some wisdom sharing from her end. So, Susan, thank you so much for being back with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Ruth. I really appreciate you inviting me back.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know who Susan is, she's a beautiful and amazing psychic medium. She's local here to Richmond, Virginia. And I'll just say it again, I have seen a lot of different psychic mediums on TV and been to several myself here locally. And you just really are the real deal. And you are here to empower all of us with your gifts. And so I'm just so grateful for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you saying that.
You're welcome. So what we're going to do today we're going to talk for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. We'll keep it kind of short. And we're going to do an offering for people who are watching because we got about 900 so far. We got about 900 views on you from the last video. And what we're going to do today is talk a little bit about psychic abilities, talk about our clairs. We have different clairs,
Mhm.
and also how we can link to our guides. And so, since you're such an expert at all that, I thought what we could do is sort of organically walk people through how to link with their guides and also how to connect with their claircognizance. And so, that's going to
Okay.
be sort of the topic that we address today in this video.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, well, to start with linking, um, that is something that you eventually will be so much faster at. It'll be like a snap of a finger, but in the beginning, there's a process that you go through. For me, Um, learned that it's better if I can ground myself a little bit and just sit for just a moment undisturbed. I link now in probably 30 seconds to a minute, maybe minutes,
Mhm.
depending on what's going on in my head. But usually it's pretty quick. And I always, it's sort of like I have an open line to them now. I can just get there. Um,
Can I stop you right there just so for
Mhm.
clarification? Because I'm taking notes. Um,
Okay.
the opening to them. So when you say them, can you just sort of describe what that is?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. That they would be your guides, uh, the people that the angels that you connect to, the spirits that you connect to. Um, I guess it's different. I'm not sure because I'm here. This is me.
Right.
I think that you connect to a lot of levels of understanding when you start to cross the barrier. And I personally have 9 guides that I continuously am in association with. They I was of the concept that they would stay the same, but they don't. As I have gotten older here on this, plane, they've changed and they've added. So there used to be, I call them Magnificent Seven because they were wonderful in helping me um, achieve so many things that help not only me, but the people, that I'm sitting with. And I'm just going to say today, just a little side note, they're already flicking with my hair and things. So they're very much active and around and just want to be heard and established. So if you see me doing that, it's just I'm trying to like stop. Um,
I love
so
I love that you call them the Magnificent Seven. What a beautiful and then there's
yeah.
really nine. Yeah.
And now there's 9, and there used to be 7 forever. And then I realized that one of them changed. It went from, sort of like a male energy to like a female energy, which was kind of different. And then now I have 9, so I just I'm either doing not such a good job and they think I need reinforcement, or, but no, seriously, I'm so blessed to have that because it's more of an empowerment for me to transition what it is that I'm having to convey to my client, to my sitter.
Right.
So, so anyway, that's my elevation. That's my point of contact, and that's where I try to reach each time that I slow all myself down.
Right.
Now, a lot of people have different ways of getting into that level of thought. Once you get to 8 hertz, you're here, they kind of come down to you to kind of level up so you can hear them. So it's 8 is the magic number in the hertz. So,
Yeah.
um,
And that's a frequency, right? That's what you're
right, yeah,
explaining.
yeah, it
I'm just
is.
going to try to
And,
calibrate with some. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead.
yeah, and it's funny because, for the longest time, and that's scientifically, um, some people can dispute the woo-woo, I guess, part of it, but you can't really mess with energy and you can't really mess with science because that's where it is. But long story short, so once you adjust and you learn that frequency and you get to it, you just need to be patient with yourself and realize that you just so I make sure that I'm in a comfortable position. I usually have bare feet on the ground if I've had like a hard time, with having so many things in the atmosphere that I'm attached to. But
Right.
I clear pretty quickly now. But in the beginning, um, you would do a countdown. You'd start with your breathing, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. I think in maybe future demonstrations with Ruth, she'll be teaching some of the methods of how to start with just bringing yourself into you and getting your energy back closer to you than so outspread into your environment. And then so I normally that's just what I do. I just breathe in and breathe out 3 or 4 times. I think about the energy from my base chakra going up, coming up.
Mhm.
And then of course, the your head chakra is open, and because as you do that method of breathing and then balancing your energy, balancing you, then of course you get to you feel the energy coming from your base chakra all the way up through the heart, through the all the way to the head top, and then out. And when it goes out, I usually have like a colorful vision of connection. That's what goes on in my head.
Oh,
Now,
interesting. That's very interesting. You got, so
yeah,
you see,
so
like it,
there's just
yeah,
yeah, it's like just like a colorful swirl that just, and it's like, and when and that's a sign for me because Lord knows if they left it invisible, I'm not sure I'd catch on ever. But anyway, but it's like, oh, I see the colors and then instantly I'm there with them.
yeah,
So that's where I am. I also, call in my angels that way. Like when I want to be protected or I want to have them just all over me.
yeah,
I want them to just be so close to me. So I ask them the same way, and that happens. And the reason for that is because, I never get so ego driven that I think that I'm doing this because I'm never doing this.
right,
That's them doing it, and I'm just the transistor. I'm just the liaison, you
right.
know. I'm the medium.
Right, you're the medium.
That's it.
Well,
That's it.
those are great. I'm writing all these notes down. Those are great ways that everybody watching the video, you can stop it and go back and listen to those steps because I think it's very helpful for people to know to do the breath work, to be grounded, to really be in that zone of spirit, right? And
Yes,
then
the zone of
then
spirit.
it's
Yes.
sort of like a window open for you and you've got that colors and that those colors sounds to me like that's okay, now we're on now business, now we're
Yeah,
into
I'm
the
like I'm already there. Then I actually know I'm connected. I know that that's it. We're good.
so helpful, Susan. It's so helpful for people who are really, because we are going up through this ascension process with Gaia. A lot of people are, their psychic abilities are coming online and they're like, what is happening? And so they can just kind of do these steps and really understand that they're not in la la land. They're actually, their psychic abilities are coming online. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's
And
cool.
with mediumship, being a medium, there's a language that has to be established, which takes more than a day or a month.
Yeah.
It literally takes years.
Yeah.
Gosh, okay, stop. So it takes years to develop that. And that's why it's so wonderful, because they will give you comparisons of issues that or things that may be familiar to you in order for you to be able to translate that. The other thing is I never second guess what they give me or say. I don't try to logically put something on it that's not supposed to be.
Yeah.
Um, but sometimes it just like, I go, I have no idea what you are trying to get me to convey.
Right.
And then they'll give me a flashover of something, and then I was like, "Oh, okay." So then I can describe what they have conveyed to me to my sitter, and then I can actually give them, "Okay, so this is how I, um, can relate, but this is exactly what they're giving you. This is." And so you develop this, I call it the medium vocabulary, because everybody's is different, because you have different circumstances, but we all listen intently on what they say to us, and we convey that message accurately, and we keep it with the same integrity that they're giving it to us. The language is even a little different, from them. So it's if a person is asking me, can you just explain that a little bit more? Can you just tell me? And then I have to say the vocabulary tells me that maybe this is how it relates. And then that makes them think about, oh yeah, I know exactly what that's about now. I get it. And anything to help. And then there's always clarity that they're giving you down the road, with things, even when you're not, sitting or reading for someone, but you're in your thoughts with them. Because I talk to them when I'm not reading with people. I ask for guidance. I ask for, to be able to harness more of the integrity of what they're saying. And I mean, I practice every day, and a lot of times I'm just talking to them.
Yeah.
um I just can't I kind of keep I won't say I keep an open link, because I don't, it's very important as a medium, or is that you don't leave yourself open, because attachments sometimes come in. That's for a much later date, but it
Right.
can happen. It's one of those energies that's floating around.
Right.
So, I've just that direct link that I'm asking them questions. I don't ask for favors, because I'm already favored for being so gracious to me to be able to allow me to do this, and to understand the necessity behind it. So, and after 40 years, gee whiz, you probably should be thinking that way anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
these are some really great steps. And if I can just jump in, is it okay to jump in right
yes,
there? Okay.
please.
Because as we're talking, I'll just say that I see colors as well. And right now, as we're talking, I'm just going to say that there's a lot of colors that I see going back and forth as we're just having this chat. So that's kind of fun. I just wanted to mention that.
It's
Um,
neat.
yeah, so I get that colorful thing too, which is kind of fun. So anything else there about linking or tips? Any other tips there? And I like that last tip about, make sure you close your crown and then you're back to your normal everyday living.
Yeah. And even if you go just for a few minutes, if you don't have to, everybody thinks sometimes that, oh, you have to be meditating for 30 minutes and you have to do all these things. No, give yourself 5 minutes of clarity.
Yeah.
And 5 minutes of clarity, you're not going to get it from anybody any better than the other side that are attached to you through this entire life experience that you're having, this human experience that you are in the middle of. And just, linking up and saying, hey, you know,
Yeah.
here I am. Release whatever you need to release or to talk to them about, because they're going to tell you, your gut is definitely um it's never going to let you down. It's never going to lie to you. And I always say that whatever you feel in your abdominal area, that is exactly what you should be listening to, because your head, your logical mind intervenes all the time. And that's because we're built as humans, that's what we're supposed to be doing, kind of a thing. But when you are faced with decisions, or maybe personal circumstances, or just gratefulness that you want to share with the other side, they're always there. They're always watching over you and unconditionally loving you, um knowing that you have a purpose and they want to help you get to that. And that's what I'm hoping, that over time, that people that want to come in and watch, or people that want to view this, um it's all about you getting into your space, into your soul awareness. That's what it's all about. It's just to give you that opportunity to link into something that is not it's not obtainable on the earth plane, but it is obtainable through there. So and so taking some time to learn how to connect to them. And let me tell you something, they are so patient with you, because you can feel their energy coming closer to you when you're trying to get to them. You can feel that it's not scary, it's not weird. It's just, you feel that love and that comfort. Can you say that, Ruth? I mean, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do feel like it's just such a really warm and peaceful feeling that I get when I'm trying to connect to them. Or, well, now that when I do connect to them, I feel good. I mean,
Yeah.
I feel I feel the physical part of it, I guess, now.
Yeah,
Do
I
you?
yeah, I do. And thank you for asking. When I just sort of join with the angelic presence and join with the higher self and into I call it the angel Buddha Christ light. And that's how I want to feel it. And that way I'm in that true light. And
Yes.
I think, to your point, it's the word link or connect or join. And at the slightest invitation, spirit will come down to our level, in a sense, and really connect with us. And then we are really in alignment with our guides and teachers who are there to help us. And so I really do feel that. I don't hang my hat as a medium like you, but I do feel that energy come through when I do sessions and things like that. But I've been around you, and I just want to mention right here, this is just popping in. So this is a guidance that I'm getting
Uh-huh.
from my guides and teachers to,
Okay.
if it's okay with you. I did see you symbolically in a dream one night with 9 energy centers around Susan's head. She had 9 energy centers, like a crown. And these beautiful energy centers, they looked about this big. Um, and they were sending light codes down into your crown chakra. And what I noticed during this experience is that as the light was engaged, that spirit guide was engaged, the light was coming down from this one, and then it would send you a message. And then over here, this one would engage and then send you a message. And that's how I saw it, which I thought was so beautiful. Yeah.
Really appreciated that too, because then that made me start to wonder. So I did have I went into the quiet space and meditated, and then started asking. I was like, I feel like you're bigger, but then I realized that there was more. So that was really kind of cool, because I just thought they were getting bigger. I didn't realize that there were more there. So I mean, I just think that's amazing, and I'm so grateful to them. And I jokingly say that they probably think that I need the help, but
Yeah.
but really and truly, um It's not, it is so, I don't, this isn't ego talking. This is just, it's so empowering because it feels so good. And then my whole intention from day one of saying and committing to this is that I wanted to do the very best job as if they were here doing it. And for whoever that I interacted with that needed the information or wanted to talk or wanted to understand. So I'm so appreciative of that. And I think that there is it's because there are things in my future that am wanting to accomplish. And I think that's just their way of supporting that. I
Right.
think that is their way of coming in to go, yeah, we've got some other things you can take a look at. We've got a different perspective for things. So
Absolutely.
um,
Well,
yeah,
I
and it's
love that.
just so
Yeah.
loving.
Yes. Well, I love all that we're talking about. It really is making me feel good. And what I wanted to address a little bit here as we get toward the end of the video is just talk a little bit about one more thing, which is clear cognizance. That's the first one we're going to talk
The
about.
clear knowing. Yeah.
Cognizance, which is clair knowing. We've got 6 clairs, and that's the first one we're going to talk about today, just for a few minutes. And that was the one that stumped you. You were saying before we hit record, it stumped you a little bit, the clair cognizance. So maybe we can
Um,
link in and talk about clair cognizance.
yeah, and I think that there are people that are extremely intuitive. They just know things. Now, when ego gets involved, it distorts that. So the best thing to do is just try to push it aside, it has its purpose, but those people that have those strong intuitions, like, you ever heard that phrase where your mother has eyes in the back of her head?
Yeah.
And your mother just knows everything and that kind of, deal. Well, I think that it's not just mothers. I think there are a lot of people that have that ability and that strength. And so when you go to your gut and not to your head, that gives you that all knowing, that clear knowing. Well, imagine being a medium, and you go up and you're saying something to somebody. I don't just randomly do just what I'm usually with someone, but I will start a sentence and it's like I hear me saying it and I am trying to figure out why you are saying it because you have no idea what you're talking about. Because why would you even say that? And I swear, and it's on every bit of my energy, that that is the most eye-opening thing that takes place, because that what that is like, I am literally transitioning whatever it is that they are saying directly, just as they're saying it. But for instance, my mom many years ago, had an issue, and she was on dialysis and she was resuscitated, and she'd been in like a coma for a couple of days. And so my brother and I and my dad, we all stayed with her, obviously. And then so it's like the third day, I believe. And anyway, my mom wakes up. I'm literally, just sitting next to her bed holding her hand. And anyway, she puts, and I had my head laying down on her hand, and she put her hand on my head, and I went, "Oh my goodness." And I said, "What kind of deal did you make with God?" I said, "'Cause you weren't supposed to be here." And she laughed because she and I both knew, if my mother could make a deal to see her children or her husband, because she didn't get to see any of us because she was on dialysis that morning, and then everything broke loose, and there they go. Okay, so, well, my dad and my brother had my father was in the process of getting a new car, and it was one that my mom picked out. And so all, timing is everything. So I said, well, I said, they'll be here in just a little bit. So, and then, I asked her, I said, I know that today is going to be the last day that you see all of us. So, and then just stopped and I went, "Why did you just say that?" And I was like, and I said, I know when you go to sleep, you're not going to wake up. And exactly those things happened. Um, but what was really kind of weird is that when my brother and my father came, I said, you need to go and talk to her about anything you want to talk about. Spend some time with her, and I'm like, because when she goes to sleep, you're not going to have a chance to say it again. She's not going to wake up. And so my brother and my dad are looking like, what kind of things have you been doing since we've been gone for the past 3 hours? Well, um, anyway, it happened exactly like that. Um,
Wow.
and that was though the real like there were many other things that happened. So that's one reason why I'll never doubt anything. And I know that that was a gift to me because I was the one that was there, and I had been pushing so many things aside. So I have my mother's last day on earth to thank for me pushing forward with what I'm doing now.
Um,
But it's that all knowing. And it's like, and I just remember saying that to my brother and my dad, and I was thinking, you are so cold. How could you say that? But yet something just kept saying, that is correct. D- Um, um, Understand that you had to convey the message. Understand because it was important. You needed to give them opportunity. It's like and I could just and it's like, but there was like while I'm sitting there like shaking my head like, a wet dog, at the same time I'm feeling this sense of peace that I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't say anything out of the way. But that is the all knowing. And I'm just going to tell you, it is compelling because that's not something that I would know. That's not something I could even come up with. But get used to the fact as you start to practice and your intuitiveness comes to its height. There are going to be things that you have a clear knowing about, whether it's talking to somebody about a contract professionally, or if it's linking up with an old friend and knowing that maybe things aren't exactly the way they're saying it, or whatever that gut is telling you, that is your intuition, and that's your God side. That's the side that's cheering you to do the best, to pursue the best for you, to make a good choice, to do those things. And if you pretend that you are purporting the truth and you're really making something up from your own personal judgments or opinions, um I just caution you not to do that. It creates karma.
right.
We're now getting into an existence where karma is simultaneously, you know what I'm saying? It's not like
Yeah,
if it's wrong, you're going to deal
right.
with it then. It's more, confrontational.
Yeah.
But
Always
um
operate from integrity. Always operate
Oh,
from integrity.
absolutely. It's like, integrity is, doing the right thing even when no one's looking,
Right.
So, and the other thing too is that I wouldn't ever want to disappoint the other side.
Right.
But it's like, like you could walk by somebody at work and go, they're pregnant, or and it's like the and it's not for you to go maybe talk about, but it is definitely something that your gut's telling you. But at the same time, if your gut tells you, don't go out this evening, you need to just stay at home, do it tomorrow.
Right.
If
Right.
if your gut speaks to you that way, listen. Listen, it's avoiding you from having a circumstance that you have to would create other thoughts for, but um it is as clear as if Ruth called you or I called you and said, "Hey, you really should cancel that vacation because you're going to have issues with that." I have people that call me and ask me, it's like, "Hey, I'm going to be traveling so and so and so and so." And I'm like, "Mm, I probably wouldn't do that time. Uh,
Yeah.
why don't we shift it a little bit?"
Yeah.
And then surely enough, something has, happened, whatever. But anyway, the all
I
knowing and the
yeah,
clear knowing is yeah, I was just gonna say the all knowing and the clear knowing is very defined, and it's very exact, and it doesn't waver. It's just straight direct to you.
yeah, and just really trust. It sounds to me like what you're saying is like really trust that. And I think we have to really begin to develop that trust in
Absolutely.
their cognizance. Really, number one, link in. and use your
Mhm.
guides to help you, your higher self,
Yes.
your guides. Lincoln, learn how to do that. And you get some great guidance on how to do that. And then with the clear knowing and the clear knowing, and that's a beautiful example with your mom. And what a great example to bring forth today. And God bless your mom.
Yeah.
And I just sort of, yeah, I'm getting a chill right now just talking about that. And then just, being having that clear knowing and also being able to express it like you did with your brother and your dad, right? Just being able to express that and begin to develop that trust. And don't push into something if you really are feeling not to do it, just
Yeah.
being operating from that zone of spirit. And I liked what you said about the ego. And I do want to bring that in a little bit right here, talk about you've got a true voice, which is sure and compassionate and certain and
Yes.
loving and kind and has your back. And you've got that
Mhm.
false voice, which is trying to aggrandize your whatever, the ego
Right.
voice is a separate whole thing. And it's not your true voice, it's the false teacher. And so we want to just really tune into that true teacher, the true teachers, and stay away from that ego part that is trying to aggrandize itself or whatever it might be. That's not the point. It's to really tune into that true teacher. Well, we're almost to the close of this beautiful video that you've been helping us make today. I love all that, the linking and the claircognizance. Before we stop today, I am going to ask you if your
Mhm.
guides have any special, beautiful message that they would like to just share with all of us today.
Ugh, um,
I'll put you on the spot a little bit.
let me see. So yes. Thank you. Um, okay. So I love this. This is the message from them is exact when I say this. Um, Anyone developing their spiritual awareness for the greater good for themselves and for mankind will not be disappointed. It is inevitable that you will still continue the human pathway, being aligned with a human. Please say that again. And the aspects of how it is presented on this plane. Yes. Know that you are loved unconditionally and know that you have a purpose. Each one of us have a purpose. Each one of you have a purpose. Interesting. We are all here to accept what you want to send and how you want to connect us. We're all willing to accept your connection and increase your ability to be able to attain us as frequently and as often as you like. We are here only to do the greater good of all the human race. We appreciate and love unconditionally every single soul that wishes to attain a higher vibration so that we all can increase the value of human existence. That's it.
Well, that's beautiful. And we will end there on this beautiful transmission today. What a great teaching about linking, the clear knowing, and a beautiful message from your guides for all of us today. Susan Fuller, you're an amazing spirit. You're the real deal. And please reach out to Susan, you guys, if you feel inspired. You can, I'll put her phone number in the description box and also her email. And she's just on a beautiful soul path, and all of you are too with her. God bless you, Susan Fuller. Thank you.
God bless you, Ruth. Thank you so much.
On this button here.